Should be there.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with my boy Petey. Say what's up, Petey.
What's up?
Hey, we are talking about Peacemaker episodes 4 and 5. Oh, I don't know what to make about this, Petey. This is like John Cena's show, and I don't know what to say about this. What's your take on Peacemaker 4 so far right now? And five.
Um, well, I mean, they just finished the assault on the butterflies. We had a lot of wacky stuff in that episode. You
I think
do
what
better, huh?
it's called the Chode Less Traveled. The name is
Oh my
Chode Less.
God, yeah. So
The
why don't
names
you
are
give an
crazy.
overview? You give the overview of this.
Okay, so what happened is that Um, so in that episode, what happened is that the father of a Peacemaker, basically, they try to see if they can shut him up. Well, one of the characters, she tries to see if she can shut up the Peacemaker by sending the vigilante in to kill his father, right? But it backfires because what happens, the father then's like, wait a second, you know, I've been trying to figure out, I figured out it was you, but I think it's my son who's doing it. And basically, he's trying to get everybody to know that it was the son who
But he won't snitch.
he won't snitch. But
But we know that now that the vigilante, even though he's extra nerdy, is a great fighter, right?
he's a great fighter, but the vigilante, and we've talked about this before, that we're used to, and he's just but wow crazy. He's a fighter, but he's nuts. He's like this. There's like levels of thought. He thinks he's good friends with Peacekeeper, and Peacekeeper didn't even realize they were friends.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker, excuse me, Peacemaker. That they were friends, and you're like, yo, what are you talking about? He knows that they grew up in the same area and stuff like that. Great fighter, but he's a nutcase. And all it took was a little bit for Abadiah to just say, hey, if we got rid of this problem with the father, that everything will be okay. You know, and it's like they just keep. The one thing about this show that drives me nuts is good and is bad is that is that they constantly, whatever the right thing is to do, they bumble into the wrong thing every single time. Like framing his father for putting his prints on stuff, putting the registration for the car. So when the cops come looking for him, they pick up the father, who is what, the White Dragon. He's head of a militant racist group or whatever. And it, but it's also cool that interesting that we have crazy family members, and his family members is a straight out racist. Everybody knows, and he calls it out, but it's still his father, and so he has mixed feelings about him from when he was growing up with his father, and just his father clearly not even loving him, liking him, and treating him like dirt to some degree, to quite a few degrees. So it's a very interesting thing. But in this episode, we have Adrian Chase. He's out there trying, like I said, trying to go after the father, but in doing so, he kicks people's butt. But the father knows who he is. He knows the first thing he thinks about is his son. But we all know his son isn't that bright. He's like a guy who just falls into the, is it right places or the wrong places?
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Well, I think one thing we got to deal with this because a character is a character. If you are a dark person, say I am a whatever I am, right? I am a goody two shoes. That doesn't mean that the problem is what they have is like TV decides they have to apologize for these characters. So it's like karma. Like TV likes to play with karma. So the idea that this character is going through this stuff is because of all the stuff he's done as far to Peacemaker, which I'm not really for. I'm not into like karma type of thing in these TV shows to have this guy pay for this stuff because it's funny. Look at him, he's in jail. But in it being in jail shows you how powerful this guy could be. We already know everything that he can do. He can make spatial. He can make quantum like level spatial like expand stuff spatially to put stuff in his like closet. Who knows what he has in jail, right? He could have that sort of setup while he's in jail. So it's going to set up to where you get to see maybe do something cool in jail. But right now we're seeing this racist get his comeuppance, which is people like, yeah, give it to him. But it was like a really bad sort of play in my mind because it's like, no, this is a character. This is a character we need to deal with. And if he's a criminal, let's not push him to be now he's gonna go against them because of all the dumb stuff that they did. So that's what I was kind of iffy on on that stuff.
I mean, and I agree with you. You make a lot of points there, but you're saying it's a character. He's not going to be a popular character. So I mean, this is one of the things that James Gunn has done. He's writing the characters. So we have the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. You're not going to be able to do this type of stuff. DC is giving him the ability with the Suicide Squad, the Peacemaker, to expand upon this whole universe. To be more grittier. Of course, with DC always trying to show, hey, we're the more mature channel. We're willing to do things against convention, and this is what you have here. The main character's parent is the biggest racist, straight up, right? And people are like, oh my gosh, we can't even deal with this. But then some people have to say, wait a second. We do have people who have pretty old views, wrong views to begin with. So I'm not making any excuses for it. But the character, we started looking into him and started saying, hey, he's not as bad as we initially thought. I'm trying to say? He's misguided. And so we start looking at him a little differently and saying, hey, probably he's not that bad. He's trying to do good, but he just goes off on the wrong track. What was that comment they said at the beginning of the series? That he's the character who what did he say? He said he's the character that he's so good for, he wants peace that he'll kill for it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, wait a second, that defeats the whole purpose, right?
Yeah.
So that's.
Well, I mean, it's a funny sort of tagline, and I think the thing that I mean, obviously you're just supposed to be going into it and having fun. Like, this is what the show is about. It's just like you're supposed to turn your brain off and just let the fun happen. But then it's like stuff that we don't understand, like, because he's like, we know that Peacemaker has captured a butterfly, and he has it on with him like another pet with eagerly. But then at the same time, we get to see what we knew was the truth. We get one of the team is a butterfly. So it's like are they bad or are they good? And that would lead to the next. But before we get to the next episode, we
You're in
also
the next episode. You're talking about the next episode. That was
no. Remember at the end of 4,
okay. Yeah.
the
Okay.
big reveal. So, but even getting into that, the whole father and son dynamic. This is one of the problems I had with the Suicide Squad, was that they were taking Bloodsport and they were taking his backstory to give him a daughter instead of having a brother that was took his place and basically became a paraplegic instead of Bloodsport. So they kind of, which I knew they were gonna do, they kind of extracted some of that stuff, that Bloodsport's background, and just had the two brothers type of deal in here. So, and they tried to give you something so you could feel sorry for Peacemaker, that him and his brother was pushed up, and the brother may be a little bit better, taking direction, and all these bad events that the father had set up. So you get to see that they really had a trying childhood, and at the same time, that's how we lost the brother. But at the same time, this is something that Peacemaker never measured up to how his brother was, and that's the dynamic. Even though it's not the same as Bloodsport in the comics, they kind of took that brother dynamic and kind of used it in their own way, and they kind of softened it. Where ultimately, if you're going to steal it, like, take the whole thing, like take the fact that what's name is the best at what he does, and you find out that ultimately, when it came down to it, the brother is the one that was the real hero, and not because in the Bloodsport story, it's about him running around saying, "Me and Mickey got our cans blown off in Nam, and this is it." He's going around there, and then Jimmy Olsen's like, clearly Bloodsport's can hasn't been blown off, so there's got to be a story here, because he's nuts, right? So it's like, that's one thing which is an interesting story, where this is like he's living with the shame that his brother's gone, but his brother, he has to live up to his brother's memory, that sort of thing. So they softened it a lot, and that's why I kind of. But these are like heavy things in this light sort of story that I don't think people even care about, because I think we get to. Is there anything else in episode 4 you want to talk about?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think you definitely hit on something with the brother there, but again, that's what I was saying before, that because of those type of things, you make him. He's a character that you start saying, "Hey, this guy is not as bad as we think. This guy is much better." And but let's talk about Judo Master. The very
Oh yeah,
fact
yeah, yeah. We saw
that
that.
this guy bound up. What the hell do you expect was going to happen?
Yes,
He was
that's the
going to come
thing.
out and
Yeah.
kick people's butt. We saw the opening dance sequence, and we saw Judo Master in there, and of course we haven't seen him for the first 3 episodes, and I think the third episode we saw him. We're like, what's going on with this character? Now we're seeing that somehow they're going to turn him, or he's going to become. And let's get back a little bit. Like, who are the butterflies and what they're doing there? Because I think it's going to be turning out, like you said about Mern. These butterflies is much more complicated. I don't think it's simple that these guys are just straight up bad, trying to take over the world or whatever. Or probably some of them are, but we don't know so far. But we have Mern, who we know is a butterfly, has a butterfly in him. And he works for Walder. Do you think Walder knows? I mean, she's probably one of the smartest people around. You know, this small off the books thing they're doing, and he's actually trying to kill other butterflies. So it's just like a false flag. Hey, I'll kill a couple, but keep everybody else alive. Or is I hate the other butterflies and I gotta knock them off, or with different species. So it's a lot of different things going on that you're not sure how to look into this and stuff like that. We also
So
see Harcourt starting to warm up to him, as time is going on.
I do
Wasn't
not.
expecting that, but of course,
Stop it. Stop. Well, we go back to Judo Master. The fact that Judo Master says the butterflies aren't what you think,
right.
right? And then we get to the net, but he gets. It seemed like he was killed, but he at the same time you see them. Was it in this episode where they kind of hook him up to an IV and whatnot, and it's like, oh, he's still alive, right? But he lets this thing out. We know what's the name, so we know the direction the story's going. At the butterfly, even though we got the trick ending at the end where we see one of the teammates is the one we knew was a butterfly. Is a butterfly. Um, going in there, they're saying it's not that as bad as what it seems. We get to the next episode, it's an all-out assault on the butterflies.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That episode, what they call that, Monkey Dory.
Yeah.
Like, where are they getting these names? you know. But yeah, that was a whole out assault. They went in there, and his Peacemaker went to his father's house and grabbed a whole bunch of helmets. And that's another thing. Probably you can give me a bit more on this, but these helmets all have different powers. So the one that he grabs is X-ray vision, so he can see what's inside people's heads and stuff like that. And that's how he knows that there are butterflies there, right? And so they go into the office to this facility that's making, I guess, possible goo for the butterflies. And when they go in there, they see they're supposed to just ask questions, but he starts just blowing people away because he's like, "Yo, I can see in their head, boom, butterflies."
But
It's
he
like,
has one. Why is he blowing them away?
yeah, and
It's
we
like a
don't.
Matrix thing. It's like,
It's like,
hey, you're
I got
one
a
of them.
pet.
Blow, blow.
Yeah, I'll kill everything else but my own pet. That's what I'm trying to say. He has this warped sense of what's going on because probably is he trying to figure it out? He's not telling anybody that he has a butterfly at home. He's feeding it honey or something like that. It's crazy. But I
So
mean,
this,
the,
sorry, you go.
but it's kind of crazy. They go through the whole fighting scene, which is what I like. The action is pretty cool. DC HBO Max has done a great job with the action scenes. But then they go fight the gorilla, and that's where, and probably you would know a little bit better. It's like a sentient gorilla. I don't know if the butterfly did it or the gorilla was already smart to begin with.
They
I
said
don't
at the
know.
end it was a butterfly.
Oh, so it was a butterfly that
I
did it.
thought it was Gorilla Grodd. Or I immediately,
Okay.
every time I see a gorilla, I think Gorilla Grodd. It's like, no, it was a butterfly taking over. But they
I
can
wasn't
talk.
thinking. I wasn't thinking Gorilla Grodd. I was thinking one of the gorillas from Gorilla City. You know,
Okay.
possibly one of them that they brought him in and stuff like that. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, he was. Remember when they got locked in there and people were like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
you
But
know,
that's the thing. Ultimately, the hard part about these shows, and you can see it in a lot of superhero things, like say if you got tossed around like the Revenant, like you get tossed around by a bear, you should basically be mauled and finished. And they're like, this is a TV show. We can toss you against the wall and you can still survive. And not just Peacemaker, all the other human characters, Hardcase, the other guy, that sort of thing. So, but I mean, I think
standard fare in comics now. They're treating people like animation. Like, yo, you're like
yeah,
Bugs Bunny. You can like bound you out so many
yeah.
times, right? That's what they're treating
They
people like now.
lost they lost the whole angle when people used to get upset about this sort of action, and now it's like, don't do anything too real in reality thing, like in dramas, in comic book stuff, like cut people's heads off, do whatever you want, put that cuts the heads off and put it back on. That violence is just cartoon violence. When did people get that? And when did everyone get to notice that it was okay to just do whatever you want?
I
But
know.
yeah,
But I think that's probably one of the things that are stopping us. If there's probably other sentient life in outer space, and they probably seeing these things that we're beaming out to space. Oh my gosh, these freaking humans are crazy. They're 4 times strong. They can throw each other against the wall. They fight zombies. They fight superheroes.
that's a
They're like,
that was a Fantastic Four thing in their second issue to defeat the Skrulls. Reed comes with the comic book and says, Skrulls, this is what you have to deal with if you come back to Earth. And they bought it. But it's like they were a company that's really trying to make it. You could really see they were doing different weird things. So yeah, but going back to this, yeah, you have this is what every studio producer wants. Every studio producer wants people to be like, wow, they're joking around and having fun, and hardcore takes a picture of a selfie of them. They're texting to each other. They're having all this camaraderie, that sort of thing. I did not want the gorilla to get it. I was like, I like Eagerly. I like I don't like the nerdy side of Vigilante, but I like Vigilante when he's just doing the action, and then of course I like the gorilla. But ultimately, whenever you do that, it's just like King Kong. It's like you can't introduce those type of characters. You immediately think of, I want this guy to win. I don't want him to lose.
look, I have a problem with that, and that for you, I know for me, Vigilante was one of my favorite characters when the comic came out and stuff like that. But when we're talking about him now, it's like, he just like makes me cringe. Like, I do love his outfit. I do love, his fighting style. But it's like, this is not Adrian Chase. But then when you
Yes.
see Adrian Chase in the CW, he's just so serious and so, But I mean, but look, I get James Gunn what he's doing. I like the fact that he's also doing the whole '80s music, hair metal ballad stuff. It's a lot of '80s music, and I'm like, wow, rock. I remember some of those songs. I didn't listen to them, but I remember some of my friends or people that I was associated with who listened to some of those things. And I'm like, they're so frigging, I still can't believe people even remember that. Like some of those songs, it just blew me away. You
Yeah,
know.
it's well, again, I guess it works for those. I guess it works for those that his sort of character to have
But
those
it's
sort of
perfect. It's exactly perfect. I was talking to a friend who listened to that, and he's like, "Yeah, we heard. I used to play it all the time." And I'm like, "What? Are
but
you freaking for real?"
isn't there like for us to Cena? I guess no, I guess it works for Cena his age. I guess it could still work for him. So yeah,
Yeah, it works for Cena. It's totally in character, you know.
we
And
got
again,
someone
I didn't
listening.
really listen to most of that.
Wait a second.
Some of
We got Ian from London watching later, and we got Dan from Australia.
Hey, Ian, hi, Dan. So
Thanks, guys.
I, like I said, I would not have expected that in the music. But hey, that's great. And the John Cena thing, I can think one of the reasons this show is successful, and we're only getting the numbers from HBO Max. We're not 100% sure, but they're telling us it's successful. Is that I think John Cena and the whole setup. Because think about it, Suicide Squad didn't do that well, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I think they
But
were giving them a break because of the COVID, the stuff, that sort of thing.
and we said, and look, I remember we said I didn't think seeing the trailer that I would even watch this. But like I said, it's like what do you call it? A train, a runaway train. You're like, how is this thing going to end? I'm just not sure. Is it going to be? And it's like, I got to keep on watching. And then it's like, no, I can't. So it's like, I'm dying. I'm dying here. Um,
But what was it? What was the other thing? That the hard part. Now, see, the problem with it is I'm being serious about like it's a they have so many heavy things in this, but then it's a cartoon at the same time. So they're trying to have the 80s psychological stuff in there, but at the same time, it's a cartoon. So when I complain about, okay, like cut with a beard, colored beard guy. That dude.
Oh yeah, Economos.
Yeah, he set up what's the name, Peacemaker's father, but at the same time, was it Leota? She's like saying, "Hey,
Exactly.
don't insult him." It's like, what does it matter? He just sent his father to jail. Like he did the dumbest thing ever. He could have simply he said they had the whole gag. They hold a gag. You can name that one. Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson. This like it was a Spike Lee scene how Spike Lee should do it, not someone talking to camera. Have those persons say the lines to the person and like go on as long as you want, that sort of thing. So,
But Cena was what Peacemaker is a freaking bully. Okay, picking on poor Economos.
but
He was
that
picking on
doesn't.
him. He
He
was
has a
picking on
right to pick on
no
him.
right now, yes, but he was picking on
Yes,
him
right now. You
before.
said it. That's it. Just stop right there. Right now. You said right now.
What I'm saying before that happened. You know what I'm trying to say? Remember the very beginning says, "Hey, I know I didn't do it. I think it was the first or second episode. It wasn't me. You know, it wasn't Abadiah. You know, it wasn't Mern. It has to be the guy. He's the traitor, the guy who Econo, because he painted his beard. But we'll come to find out, it was him and that girl. He had given away the while he was brushing his teeth. She was reading his the secret thing about the butterflies.
Yeah.
But come and talk about it. Come on. You know, that's
But I
before
just didn't like. I didn't like that she was giving him a lecture because that was more for the audience to say, "Hey, when this person's insulting and he's calling, he called him the sugar breast, so to cut that part out for you, right? He's saying that stuff. It's like saying trying to talk him out of being the way he is. When it's like this is a character, right? You're not gonna fix everything in this whole episode where he turns into somebody that's going to be an upstanding person, and especially not telling him to stop acting this way to the person who put his father in jail just because he thought it was funny.
I don't know. Hey, what about that whole thing with the folder that Abadiah put in his house, the diary?
Mm-hmm.
Walter had it. Like, what the heck is that? I mean, I was thinking, is it going to be incriminating? That's the only thing I can think of. You're setting him up to take the fall or something. But why would it?
No,
Unless you already had a diary, is that his diary or is that like
yeah, I
uh
don't remember
something
that
created?
thing. I don't remember where it first showed up, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure where it's gonna play out. But I thought when they got back because he had the invisible, like all right, he's gonna figure that he's gonna walk in, joke around, putting on the thing, and see. Oh no, that guy's this. He said, but that wasn't the right time in the story. So they're like, what? I was like, no, she's not. Why is she going back to the office? Oh no, they're gonna do it here. And they're like, there's no reason for her to be alive now. She should have something in her head. She should be gone. Nope, we can't because they're bulletproof. You have to make sure your characters are not bulletproof.
Well, I mean, she just started, and she's what, the niece of Walter?
Yeah, something can. She's actually possibly what Waller should look like, right? Because if you look in the comic books, she was heavy set,
Right.
and this I think as of right now, I think she might have had a kid or something like that. She's a little bit heavier than when she was on Orange Is the New Black. But as far as quality and talent and roles, she could have been the real instead of everyone they switched for. Was it Angela Bassett, all these other people that are either were in great shape in comparison to the Waller from the comic books, who was basically DC's Nick Fury. What's the name? The guy who was in What's the Name was not the Nick Fury. The real Nick Fury, the person who tells off all of the other
Samuel L.
heroes.
Jackson, you mean?
No, no, no. I'm talking about in the D. Who's the guy who's in Secret Suicide Squad? Um,
It was Walter in Suicide Squad.
no, but there was also hit the guy who was on the damn it, who gets killed by Peacemaker.
Oh,
Who-
Flag.
Flag, yes.
Flag, yeah,
Everyone looks at
Flag.
Flag as sort of like DC's that, but no, like Waller, even though like Nick Fury is a man of action, but at the same time, most of the time he comes in and kind of slips in and gives people, hey, Fantastic Four, we need help. Hey, you're in the wrong place, that sort of thing. And Waller was kind of like that, where she's like, like Batman, that's it. We've had it out of you. Or maybe that she's more the Glyrich. Sorry, I have to correct myself. She's the Henry Glyrich of the DC universe, which was basically the Jim Shooter of the thank you. It says Sarge Steele.
Well, you know, I always think of her of as like, what's the guy who's building the Sentinels and X
Oh, what's the name? The Oh, you mean the comic book?
Men
The
Palace.
no, the movie. The movie.
So I mean, it's like for her, it's like not the movie in the comic books, like the dude. I forgot the name of the scientist. That the whole point is that he was going to kill all the mutants no matter what. We had this,
Bullet Trask. You're talking about Bullet Trask, and he was
and so
also in every.
he was
He's in
stopping
everything.
nothing to stop. And I think of her the same way. I mean, she's just like cold. Nick Fury at least seems to be a nice guy. Yes, he has spies and agents working for him, but Waller, there's no. Everybody understands she will cut you down no matter what to get the task done. You know, remember she's putting things in people's brains to explode them if they don't complete the task, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
somebody who's like, hey, that's okay. You're gonna be on our airship, helicopter. You're nice and cool. No, she's out to you do it or you're dead. Simple as that. And Rick Flag, he died. We worked for her, and I don't think she shed a tear. You know. So that's it there. But hey, there's another thing we're missing is Detective Song, who I think is doing a great job. You know, she finally speaks to Peacemaker's pops, right? In jail.
yeah,
He's like, it's not me, it's my son. You guys got the wrong person, stuff like that. And of course, she thinks he's full of crap, especially after he's calling her all kinds of names and stuff like that. But she's a serious detective, her and her partner. So she's like, she gets the fingerprints of his blown up. They take a look at the fingerprints on file and they realize they don't match. But
yeah,
yet, when they go back to say, hey, this guy probably should get out or whatever, it says it gets thrown out because Mern's buddy, who is, I think he's a butterfly, right? Mern's buddy is a butterfly. He comes in and becomes the new head of police, chief of police, or whatever, replaces the old one, and now he's running the show. And he's like, yeah, he's guilty. We're not even going to look at it anymore. I thought that was pretty fascinating. If that's Mern or Waller that they were doing there, and the detective, like I said, I think she's doing a great job there.
Well, I mean, it only hurts. I mean, it only builds. I mean, it only sets up more story because he's got a whole network in jail.
Oh yeah,
So it's not taking away from him. So
and
where
don't
are
forget,
you at? Are you in the period of really enjoying it? I'm in there, train wreck.
it's like it's like a train wreck, or but then I'm like this. Like I said, I like the story with Song and the father. I like the fact the father feels him in the whole deep state thing, and the injustice. It's crazy. He just got out of jail and he feels like they're trying to screw me. He's being screwed. We know that. You
Yeah,
know. And they're like, keep him in there. He's a bigot. Let him just rot.
that's the
He's like,
thing. That's the thing. It's just like you mean.
that is the craziest part, So it's just the whole play, and John Cena being the complete. I don't say that he's just the guy who doesn't know really what's going on, but he's doing what he thinks he has to do, and the team is gelling. I mean, this is the same thing in the Guardians of the Galaxy. The team fights. You have Rocket Raccoon fighting with Star Lord about who's in command of the ship.
Stop it! Don't no. Everybody wants
Mr. James Gunn,
sneaking
bro.
hardcore to get together.
I didn't say that. I'm
They
just
said
saying.
it. We got Dan and Ian saying that they want them to get together.
Hey, I think it's being telegraphed. I think eventually she's going to warm up. Wasn't she the one who did the chat group? What was the chat group? The 11th or
Yes,
13th?
yes, she's the one. She's the one who did
Took the
it. It
picture. I'm
was a
like, wait a
big
second.
step for
You guys are
her.
supposed to be on a kill mission. You're
Yes,
not supposed to be taking pictures, dude.
yeah.
What
It's
are you
funny.
doing?
Yeah, she the last person that should be doing that. That's one of the thing of comedy in this heavy psychological thing at the same time. So it's really, it's I don't know. It's like it's one of those things where it is what you were describing. It's something that definitely watchable, but it's just kind of wacky. But I'm in it for the bird. I'm in it for the bird, man. I'm here for the bird. When I saw at the first episode
Oh,
when
eagerly,
they're
eagerly.
doing the jokes
Oh,
eagerly and they cut to the bird and the bird is laughing at the jokes, I lost it. So eagerly
yeah, I
kind of
know.
kills
Mr.
it
Set.
every time. But All
Eagly
right.
is crazy. Is that you're right about Eagly? Is that it's like I like the fact that when he's sad, he brings he goes gets a
Yeah,
possum or
he
something
did it
like that.
again. Yes,
I'm
yes.
like, dude, I'm human. I don't eat that.
Yeah. But
What
that
what
thing
they
is ultimately I would be surprised that he didn't because that he's like this sort of this redneck type of father. They probably get some gamey type of meat out there. So, but anyway, I guess we're stuck. But we have Leota. She's in trouble right now. Ultimately, she should make it out, but I mean, she's still. I can go to IMDb and see if she makes it out of the season.
Of
Out of
course,
the.
she's gonna make it out of the series. I don't think there's a
She
question about
needs a butterfly on her head, and they need to, they have to kill. They have to go through the. She can't be bulletproof. You gotta have her go through it.
that. I mean, technically, no one should be bulletproof. Technically, John
Yes.
Peacemaker, we thought he wasn't bulletproof, right? And he seems to have his own series, right?
Yeah.
We thought he
Yeah. Yeah.
died
You're
when
right.
he
Well,
got shot by Bloodsport. We thought it was a wrap, you know.
yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
hey, let's talk about if we're done with this. I just want to go on because they're talking about James Gunn also doing another series based off of the whole Suicide Squad situation.
Another what? A series of a Suicide Squad or a
Another
series?
series, like I guess, like this, taking one of the characters from there and then turning him into the series. I think it came out in Variety or something like that, where you're like, wait a second, they're going to do another Suicide. Um, yeah, they're saying that James Gunn's Peacemaker becomes DCEU's highest rated project. Again, highest rated. I don't know in terms of what highest rated quality, or is it in terms of what? I'm just trying to see if I can find the story here. Yeah, they said it's in Deadline actually. I think I shot that to you before. You know, if you want to bring it up.
Buying a second spinoff.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's interesting.
So
Who's
who do
ever
you
heard
think
of?
would it be?
It's not going to be with. Clearly, it's not going to be with Harley Quinn. It's not going to be with Idris Bloodsport. It's not going to be, um, they haven't really said. But I can't imagine it being someone like. Definitely, I'm freaked out if they do the Rat Girl. So let's not do that one.
Yeah, that one I'm
Don't do the
not ready.
Brainiac guy.
I'm pulling this guy up for a second. So that's not. We don't want any notifications. We don't need no notification. Well, that's the thing. Flag comeback.
I still have no idea why they killed Rick Flag, man. What's the actor's name? Kinnaman or something like that?
He's great.
He's
Like
always getting killed off in his shows for some odd reason.
he is. I mean, like
He's like,
to
I'm a
have
movie
a
actor.
guy that look he can be a smoked out sort of character. He's done that a couple times, but he can be a leading man, a politician. I've seen him do everything.
Yeah,
He's like it's got a superhero build, and it's just like he's like, well, he's not. I guess. I mean, I guess he'd be in the Thor realm type of deal, but it's like Hollywood isn't ready to make him like a huge star. They're keeping him money rolling, but they're not ready to say, you know what, give me that guy from this thing.
yeah.
Can't say anything, but It's connected to this universe. I
Wasn't he in
don't
a
think it'll be the
movie?
same genre as Peacemaker. It won't be as much comedy as Peacemaker, but it'll be in the same. Maybe it sounds like it's going to be something serious.
How much more serious does he want to get?
Well, I
So
mean, he likes the psychological stuff. Who's left? Let's look at the picture again.
yeah,
Will Smith. No, Will Smith is not going back to TV.
no, he's not doing that.
Um, oh man, we got Crazy Quilt. We got Harley. What's the name? Not doing TV. I'm not sure who
Rat
else.
Girl.
I don't know who else it could be. Maybe he's just gonna be no. It said the same universe, so that can mean that he's taking another villain and playing with it.
That's true. I mean, it would make sense to bring someone in who. The good thing about the Peacemaker is that you have the ability to do many different characters. Not characters. His backstory is not that well known. It's not written in stone. You can change things up. You can bring other characters in. So I think he's going to have to go with a minor character. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure who else to do because you're talking about. The top ones: Harley Quinn, Rick Flag, um, Bloodsport. Those are the big ones. You're not going to be bringing those guys back. Then you got the Rat Girl. You got the guy with the polka dot powers. Is he dead? No. You have the guy who does like the matter transmutation stuff. He wasn't really an interesting character. The Shark, King Shark, was interesting, but he seems to be straight up comedy, if you ask me. You know,
Yeah, I think, but that's the thing. If they were to do King Shark, they have a window to do what the Incredible Hulk comic books were in the '70s, in the way the TV show was. They could do like this tragic sort of character, but at the same time, because the whole comic book at times is just like the Tasmanian cartoon. Because sometimes the Hulk is there, but he's not always he leads the story, but he's not always the lead. He kind of jumps into like the Hulk stories in the '70s where he would just jump into this sort of thing. Oh, it's like Captain Boomerang would be an idea, but they didn't they kill him? They can bring they already said they can bring anybody back. Doesn't
I mean, the only thing, like I said, they have Ratcatcher. I'm just looking at some of the people they have here. They have Captain Boomerang. You're right. Did he survive? I'm not sure if he survived the last movie.
But that's the thing. They already showed you that something could. They brought back the Weasel character at the end.
Ugh, please not the Weasel character.
So the door is open for everything.
Yeah, I guess that's going to have to be something, especially if you want to make it more serious. You got to ground it into somebody who you can believe. And like, if you do Rick Flag, that's somebody I think who can definitely take it in a more serious manner. You know, if you're going to be like, hey, I want to do these type of serious things. But I don't know, man. It's up in the air. But again, I just have to just go back to it and just saying like, wow, is it really that popular? I mean, is it? If it is, you know, I got to give it to Cena, because Cena brought all those people over from the WWE. You know, who clearly didn't go out for the movie, but came in for this, right? It's like the Spider-Man fans.
Oh, you're saying that his sort of his. Well, I mean, he's had other movies. You think that his calling from that sort of thing has built his fan base?
I think Cena has a strong fan base that will come out to it, and the TV where you would have, you know, the TV show. I think the last movie made like 600-700 million. The first one, this one didn't do that much. They claim box office. But I mean, we also have to realize that is the pandemic. It didn't do anywhere near as well. But here, him being the main character, there are characters who like him, you know, who like that blue collar, you know, worker, you know, WWE guy. You know, he's a fun hero, and that's what you like, you know. So I think that's a definite a plus, and that's not a knock. Look, The Rock has a huge fan base, right?
But The Rock has been cultivating his star for a long time, and there was a drop off, and the next thing you know, he went and shot through the roof. Now, obviously, looking at John Cena's IMDb, he's got 3 million things happening right now, which is like, look at this. We got like 6 things happening. You know, so he's got a lot of stuff. I mean, well, I saw Vacation Friends, which was fun. He keeps his toe in the WWE, Fast 9. He's. I mean, that's the thing. They've been cultivating his star for a while. So, you know, it should. Oh yeah, it was in Bumblebee. I should have remembered that. But yeah, it seems like he hasn't taken where it's blown up, but he's definitely, you know, working, and this probably saying he's the guy now. He's definitely the guy, but he's definitely getting some decent things, more so than my guy from Winston I was just talking about. Let's go before we leave here. I'm gonna go for the Rick Flag.
So just to give you a heads up, I'm just looking at this thing called the numbers, which gives you numbers on box office. As a leading man, he's brought in about $500 million worth of revenue as a leading man in all the movies he's done. Okay, there's been like 11 movies. As a supporting role, he's done like 6 movies, and he's made like almost $800 million. He's been in movies that made over $800 million. And as an ensemble member, he's been in 5, like the Suicide Squad, and that's bringing like 1.5 billion. So altogether, you're talking about he's been involved in movies that have brought in over $2 billion. You know, so this is not almost close to 3. So he may not have the individually the amount of money that The Rock is doing, but he's definitely attaching himself to projects that bring in something. So,
So that leads to say that you guys, you and Dan is saying that there's no way we could have gotten a Kinnaman show from the spinning off. We had to go with John Cena first. We, we couldn't get my guy Colonel Rick Flag to get his own show first. It had to be from his success, Cena's success. That's what you guys are leaving with. All right, whatever, guys.
Probably he just likes doing movies. Look, we saw him in. I watched Hannah, right? He gets killed off there. Hannah went 3 seasons. I think he got killed off in the first season. He got killed off in there was this show on Netflix where he would switch bodies. Let me see what it's called.
They should have kept him in that thing.
He died in Altered Carbon. You know what I'm trying to say? He died in suicide.
But he was a killer politician, even though he didn't win in there. Yeah. All right. So you're going. That's your thread. You're going with that. All right. We got to close off this episode, right? We're done now. That's what you're trying to say, that he's not the box office thing. All right.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything about. I'm just saying for some odd reason the poor dude keeps getting knocked off. I like him. I like some of his stuff. Some of the stuff that he's done.
Informer. Go and see Informer.
Okay, I'll check that out. But overall, look. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Overall,
stop laughing. I think he's laughing at me. But anyway, all right.
Overall, are you going to continue watching Peacemaker?
Yeah, obviously, I'm having some enjoyment, even though I'm complaining left and right.
Cringing. People are going to say. I talked to a friend of mine. They're like, "Why are you watching that?" I said, "I know."
Oh no, I'm on a text group. I can point out to you. They just never the show goes up. Another Emmy. They said Emmy the last one. So.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So I mean, yeah, we'll be back and talking about this. But this was our first international episode.
Thank you all for listening.
Being with us.
Yeah. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Spin Rack.
Out. Hold on, I gotta stop the recording. I'm doing it the wrong way. So you're seeing